Hello, hi, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a beautiful day or night or morning, middle of the night. We're gonna dive on in and get you a little clarity. See what would be helpful for you. This reading's timeless. So whenever it finds you, it is the right time. See what resonates. And if it does not feel like it's your message, it's for somebody else. And always follow and trust that divine inner guidance that is in you. And try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, based in love, and for the highest and greatest good of everyone. So we're all uplifted in love. Let's begin. We're gonna get the foundational energy first and then flow from there. So let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels, and energies of love have for the highest, greatest good of all. What are the opening energies? What is the foundational situation to know about today? Somebody is in the energy of worry or feeling like they are left out of a situation, feeling like there's just something missing but can't quite put a finger on it, and or know exactly what is missing but not making steps towards it. It's the Five of Discs. So it's like the Five of Pentacles, but it is upside down here. So there's somebody coming out of Worryland, starting to put more energy and effort into a creative solution, knocking on the door, knocking on a different door, going in a different direction. If there was anything, I just saw like the upside down tower a little bit. So that's kind of a big energy. But the upside down tower is where all of a sudden your worries go away and where something unbelievable happens, where bam, everything is different. And you have to build different. You have to redirect yourself because of almost outside circumstances. I kind of see for some of you, if you were looking for the right job or kind of in a job in the in-between time, you know, just kind of doing it because not really where you want to go, but it's better than where you were. I feel like if some of you sent out resumes, all of a sudden that worry goes away. You have more options than you know what to do with. And I, for some reason, feel like it comes all at once. Like you open up your email and you're like, wow, I just got like 5 jobs. Which one do I choose now? So maybe you're going back to worry a little bit. You're going to choose right. You're going to know which one is the right one. If some of you were feeling a little bit of a dip, if you have a job that has anything to do with customers, clients, even tips, something like that, I feel like all of a sudden something is going to turn around. If this is a situation where some of you were in the energy of, you know, making up scenarios, and that might not be you. This might be giving you clarity on somebody else's energy where, you know, they're always waiting for the shoe to drop. They're always waiting for something to go wrong. I feel like somebody is switching up their mindset and starting to recognize it's more valuable to go for look for a solution than get drained by overplaying something that I'm getting that hasn't even happened. Let's see. Let's clarify. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I have this answer. The answer. It's a solution. Let's go to the answer. Wow, that was so quick. Answer came through fast. What is it? Care and show. Ooh! This is a big show. It's like a DJ that's doing an outside show, like like outside by the Eiffel Tower, or they have one of those in like Vegas. I saw a tower, so maybe this is a better tower. This is a pretty strong tower. It's also kind of a romantic tower. Maybe there's something that connects you to Paris. It looks like whatever you were worried about, if it was you in Worryland, you are going to receive some comforting support. It's also going to feel better than just comfort. It's going to get you excited, get you back on track. I do feel like some of you may have been kind of blocked, if that's writer's block or creative block or something like that. You weren't actually blocked. You just needed to switch up your energy somehow, or the way you were seeing something. I'm getting, you had to tweak something. You had to throw your own little monkey wrench in a situation to kind of make it your own expression. I mean, this says spotlight, express, create, and it's radiate. Radiate. You're radiating joy and enthusiasm like the sunshine, not this weird cloudy weather over here. I do feel like a storm was necessary. You know, when you're outside and let's just say for the last 4 months it's been like 70 and sunny, but not really, like, not, it's okay. I'm getting like meh, M-E-H, not really amazeballs, but not really horrid, just kind of like vanilla. No sprinkles on top, no cherry on top, sort of like that kind of energy. And all of a sudden you can, I don't know, something you smell in the air, you smell the rain, you can kind of feel a little prickly on your skin, like there's electricity coming in. Is there something exciting that's going to happen today? Is there going to be a storm? But I feel like this is a fun storm or a needed storm. And then all of a sudden, you know, when you look up in the sky and these dark clouds kind of roar in and you're like, oh, lightning. Ooh, it's going to be a storm. I feel like it's an exciting storm. I'm not getting a weird one. Either that brings a cleanse or it brings a storm of possibilities into your life, or kind of has that lightning, kind of snaps you back into action and makes you feel plugged in. Whatever this is, you're getting the right, maybe teacher, or you are the one showing someone how to get their enthusiasm back, or showing somebody, if this is the reverse for you, showing somebody how to see Worryland in a different way and maybe turn it into Candyland. I totally lost that. I'm getting all excited in this reading. I'm gonna go get that card. It's like across my room. I always like a lightning rod. Let's get grounded. Also, this could be a situation where, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the teacher is ready, the student appears. Because sometimes you can have one student that keeps you on your toes a little bit, you know, keeps the teacher thinking a little bit bigger than the textbook. It's the right support at the right time. If you were kind of down on your finances, I feel like for some of you, you might even have that, you know, it's like a spotlight that all of a sudden inside your soul, you're like, oh yeah, I could try that. I could do that a little different. It's something that's going to feel personal to you. Like that advice was meant to be heard just at the right time. Assist and support. You could also be the one helping somebody if they're in a situation where they feel left out in the cold, kind of unclear, a little too stuck in the storm or too stuck in the plateau and not like diving into the water, getting refreshed. You know, it's like they're sitting on the beach, but they're never going into the waves. So maybe it's a wave of opportunity, the right wave. It is telling you have to be creative here. It's also a switch up of, if you feel like you have this, you know, cloud in your mind or cloud in even your heart, you know, making a decision from the heart. Maybe it's a connection of the two that releases worry. Maybe it's just letting go, letting God, saying a prayer. For some of you, I feel like a vacation and or I want to say like a night on the town, a night with a friend, a night by yourself, a night to maybe just relax if you're always out, is maybe going to be something that will switch up your energy. Either you will be shown something when you are out or see something that is inspiring, or maybe if you're just doing something on your own, that's even shown to you via a little more meditation, spiritual download kind of insight. I feel like for some of you, you need to get in, like you need to go out and mingle or something like that, get in a conversation. For some of you, if you feel like you're kind of always around other energies, then you need to come out. It's like getting two different things here. So let's get one more. Also, a 5 is, it's like I always see the wheel. You know, it's like something will spin, something will change, the season will change. What is another message? Another message for the collective. A little clarity on the 5 of discs. That's like the 5 of Pentacles. Usually I see that as, you know, somebody feels like they're kind of left out in the cold, in the snow, forgot their shoes, it's cold, but there's usually something right behind them. They just turn their head around and see there's usually that, you know, church window or something that is an open opportunity for help. But you have to sometimes be the one to reach out and ask for help and or ask for support, or at least knock on the door. And if that door is locked, there is another door that will open up with open arms. What is another message? Please and thank you. Let's get one more from this deck, and then let's go to a different tarot deck. One more. What else would be helpful to know? You're gonna be working well with someone. I saw all that stuff about a job opportunity. So when I look at the energy of this card, well, maybe there's something with a trine with the number 3, but that looks like, it actually looks like plain ravioli a little bit to me. Of course I would look at that and see ravioli. But it does look like a pyramid. It actually looks like, you know, those things that you used to make as a kid, and you'd be like, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, you make them out of pizza, and you're like, okay, number 4. Now you pick one. You open that up, and it had a little message in it. It's like a little like fortune telling thing. It actually looks like a fortune cookie. Maybe it has to do with Chinese food or your fortune or destiny. But it also looks like this is some kind of pyramid boat. Almost like a UFO boat. And to me, these wheels look like they are, I don't know, some kind of floaty where they're skimming on the top of the water. You know those boats they have in the is it a bog or like the swamps, and they have that big fan and they go really fast, but they kind of go on top in case there's weird stuff underneath, you know, like you have to go over an alligator and stuff like that. It looks like that to me. And it looks like it's almost not moving forward. It looks like actually kind of like a drone a little bit. Maybe some of you do something with drones, or it's about hovering or not hovering any longer, but rising above, because I feel like these start spinning, right? And this rises above, and you can see all of the energy in that. It looks like water to me, kind of pushing the water away. And I feel like maybe instead of going skimming along the surface, if that's what you're doing, just kind of getting by, maybe it's about rising up and actually elevating. Because now I see this like a futuristic car boat, plain ravioli UFO thing. There was so many images I just saw. And you can actually rise above. You still have all that energy, but this is usually where you recognize who you work well with. You know, who recognizes your talents, your time, your energy, your effort, and wants to see you succeed, not fail. This is usually where you work on a project with others, or you're in a partnership with someone else, or you're doing something even on your own, but all of the elements kind of work out in your favor, in your benefit. Something builds, something grows. If this has to do with an environment, this is where each person is recognized as an individual, but work together well as a unit, as a whole, to build together. One person's skill set is usually not the same as somebody else's. One person's education can be totally different. So it's recognizing, you know, if you have Barbara sitting at the desk in the back of the building, and Barbara is the one that should be at the front desk. Barbara is the one, because she's really good with personalities, that should be out there doing the promotion for your project or your business or whatever. Then why do you have her way in the back sitting at a desk in a place with no windows? You're not using her to, you know, everyone's advantage. And she'd probably be happier not faced against the wall and pushing baby in a corner kind of situation. It's recognizing where somebody has a specific knack for something and they're valued for it. If you have all of these great ideas, you know, how to make a business succeed, or how to do something, or how to work in a partnership, whatever this is, and you're never heard, you're dismissed. They're like, oh, we'll get to that. We'll discuss that later, or maybe we'll try that out. And then they shove your ideas in the drawer and never give it a go. That would be frustrating. You know, it'd also be frustrating if you were putting a lot of time and attention into it and somebody else is just skimming by and you're doing all the work. So you do have to recognize where you have, I just heard creative control, or maybe creative flow, or maybe if there's someone around you and they're particularly creative, but you're good with the numbers, maybe there's a balance with that energy on how to work together. When this is upside down, something's not building right because it's the wrong environment, or people have the wrong intentions, or they're stuck in their own head and they're not looking for a solution or looking for how energies can merge together, being on a team. They're maybe just going through the motions. So let's see, let's get an answer on this. The 3 of, it's called works. Something's in the works. Something's gonna start to work. I feel like if something was stuck before, this actually, to me, I mean, they do look like wagon wheels, but it looks like, I think it's called the Dharma wheel. It's like a ancient symbol. And I only know what that looks like because one time I wanted to make a piece of jewelry that looked like that. And I was working with wax and metal. So it was, so I was like carving that wax. And I remember I got to the edge of that little tiny spoke and I made it too narrow, and that part like broke off. I was so upset. I spent so many hours on carving that little thing. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe you even felt like you were out in the cold. You put a lot of time and effort into an environment, whatever that is for you, that you're thinking about, and then it just kind of snapped. You know, it's like all that effort where you had to like trash it, scratch it. You know, you learn something from doing it, but next time you won't get so close to the edge before it'll break. There's something about you getting a new part, you know, feeling well oiled or plugged in, and all of a sudden with the right parts, with the right components, with the right people, you in the right environment, all of a sudden it moves. It's not so hard. It's like you were trying to get something to move and it was all rusty. Clarify 3 of discs. What is an answer to help understand? Oh, so maybe you're getting out of a situation because somebody was trying to tuck you away. That's sort of what I saw. Somebody was trying to put somebody way back there and not let them shine. Maybe that wasn't you. Maybe that's what you recognize. Maybe you even recognize that in an environment and that's not the right environment for you. Maybe you can't do anything about, you know, Barbara being back there in the corner, but maybe you can bring her with you. I don't know why I keep seeing that. It's interesting because the name Barbara actually means, I think it's stemmed from barbarian, which technically means an outsider or a foreigner. So maybe you felt like an outsider, or like this environment doesn't even, I don't know. I feel like you thought you knew an environment and all of a sudden you feel like an outsider in where you should be comfortable. This is concealment. It's misleading. And there's also a cheating energy here. So if you were working in a group and somebody was trying to like get over on you, I feel like something is going to come to the forefront. Somebody's going to make a wrong move. Somebody is going to, I don't know, like if, I feel like this is a weird message, but I feel like if somebody was trying to take credit for somebody else's work, they're going to be put on the spot and maybe questioned about something they actually don't have any knowledge on. And somebody's going to see them for who they are, that maybe they didn't come up with an idea, maybe you did. If there's any kind of environment where you feel like you always want to hide away, you feel like there's something not quite authentic about that energy, I do see you leaving that environment and building somewhere where you feel like you're all in, where you don't have to wear a mask, where you're not like half in. I feel like for some of you, there's also an energy either around you or around somebody that you are close to, where this person isn't either who they say they are. You know, I have it over here. You know, they could come across as this fuzzy little teddy bear. You know, everything's good, but then they're like, I'm getting kind of their energy is kind of like, you know, when you have that, like, you know, that cat looks really cute and innocent, but then, you know, when a cat snaps and they're like I kind of see that. Like, that's like their energy inside, even though they don't want people to know they're feral. It's kind of weird. Maybe, it was weird. Maybe I should, I know this is a weird segue, but I just thought of Pharrell Williams. Maybe I can put a song by him in the playlist for you. Or, you know, I'm not doing big playlists. I haven't had that much music come through, but I always put the songs that come through in readings. If you look down in the description, so you don't have to go looking it up. If you feel like you're, you know, attracted to a song that does come through any of my readings, I will put it below so it's easy for you to just click and listen to it. See if there's anything extra for you in there. But I feel like there's someone who felt either like they had to kind of walk on eggshells around someone else because you don't know when they're going to snap, you know, or there was someone that you're just not going to, like, you're going to snap, and I don't feel like you're going to hiss. I feel like you're just going to leave. Like, go out of a situation if you feel like, you know, it didn't feel energetically beautiful. So let's get one more because I kind of want to make this even. Let's get a little clarity on why there's this hide. Maybe somebody just wants to hide away if they don't really love the environment they're in. They just rather like go hide in the bathroom. I kind of get that. Maybe somebody's also hiding their emotions about a situation or concealing how they really feel, or who they want to build with, or how they want to build. Here, how they want to proceed. I'm not sure why that's there. Why is hide here? Tell us a little more, please and thank you. Why is hide here? I just thought of Jackal and Hyde. Yeah, maybe somebody has like, you know, what do they call it? Like split personality, or like, where, you know, they're one way and then I am seeing that for some of you. I don't think it's you, but I feel like you either see that somewhere, or that has been in your past where you've gone through that, or you are maybe being the one to help somebody out or around or recognize that situation. You have, this is so beautiful. Whatever that was, we're not going to focus on it too much because I feel like that's not going to be around much longer, whatever that is. This is what's going to stick around. This is what you're flying above and towards. You got fire. You got that sparkle in your spirit. You got creativity. You have not just a little match. It's not just a little flicker. This is a whole big bonfire. Also, maybe some of you are going, I saw that party or something before, and a DJ. Maybe there is something about a celebration. Ceremony. It's also a carnival. Interesting. That's a Natalie Merchant song. It's actually a good song. Tiger Lily. It was a good album. Celebration. Maybe some of you have a birthday. Graduation, baby shower, bridal shower, bachelor party. It could just be, carnival is just kind of fun. I feel like for some of you, it might be something local. Maybe you even coordinate something, or maybe there's something at a local event and it inspires you somehow to do something on your own. I very specifically just saw a food truck. Maybe some of you have a food truck, or you cook, or somebody you talk to in line when you're getting a taco. I'm not quite sure why that's coming through. So let's go to something different. You know what? I have this. That's actually very appropriate. I didn't think I was going to use it, but I did pull it out. So this is the Money Moves, and these are all pentacles today. Except for that fire. That's a lot of spirit. So what would be a message when it comes to the spotlight, you being in the spotlight, somebody else being in the spotlight, but that being important to you somehow? Recognizing where everybody can shine in their own spotlight and are loved for it. What is one message from the Money Moves? Please and thank you. Curious. That took a while. Mind power, your brain. Wow. Well, the lightning is gonna strike an idea. Somebody is definitely open-minded here, not closed-minded. This is telling you have to look at you have to use your brain here. You gotta use your old noggin, right brain and left brain. Creativity and numbers. I did see that before. Hold on, I gotta put these on. It says, use your intelligence and analyze data, logic, and think rationally. Here is a place where it is telling you to lead with your mind. It's almost like for some of you, maybe I'm getting that you had to be more balanced in like neutral in emotion land so you could see the logical side of a situation. But I'm also getting that could be somebody else who was kind of over emotional. I feel like you can balance somebody back to, I don't know. I don't think that's everybody. If it's that cat thing, I don't think you're going to balance that person. But I feel like your reaction can change how that conversation goes or how that dynamic is. Let's get one more. We'll make this a very even. Can you even see these cards? Yeah, better. Let's get one more. One more on mind power. Please and thank you. You're more than one. Loyalty and foresight. Those are powerful. So there is somebody, look at how these two are together. Maybe it's a cat or a dog. Or maybe it's about totally different energies that can be in the same pack. I don't know what you call a pack of cats. If anybody knows what that is, I don't know. A dog is a pack, right? Like whales are a pod. I don't know. If anyone knows what it's like, I would guess a pride, maybe. If it's like big cats, maybe it's about somebody's pride. Maybe that's why that little energetic trail needed to take me. Maybe it's about healthy pride, positive pride, instead of being prideful in a weird, egotistical, negative way. This is telling you that, you know, you're going to get a good idea, but it comes through your higher self. It does come through foresight, seeing something before it happens. Maybe recognizing a red flag and not going down the dark alley, going down a different way. you know, before it becomes an issue. It's paying attention to things that are important to ensure wealth. Be farsighted and alert. So you have to kind of, if you're, you know, in something too much, that's kind of what I saw before with that energy of needing to be out or in. If you feel like you're too in, you need to take yourself out. You have to see who you're loyal to and why, and also recognize who is truly loyal to you and who has their loyalties maybe hiding through ulterior motives. I do feel like you're going to foresee this from a mile away. So loyalty is true friendship. That's your, you know, the person that wants you to succeed, not the person that's around you because of your success. This is somebody who, you know, wouldn't care either way if you had a dip in what was going on in your life. You know, you didn't get the job you wanted, things aren't working out, it's a big old rainy day all of the time. This is still somebody that is loyal to you regardless. It's that friend, you know, you have a breakup and they're like, do I have to bring over the Ben and Jerry's? Do I have to take you to see your favorite band? Or do we have to just sit here and cry tonight? What are we going to do? Whatever you need, I got you. I got you. You're good. You're amazeballs. It's that friend. You know, not somebody that's around you because of your status or because they have to. They signed the contract. That's what they have to do. This is somebody who's there because they want to be. This is somebody you are around because you want to be around them. You want to be loyal to this person or this group or this job or this project, whatever it is for you. It's true. Friendship and loyalty are among the most important values. Be loyal to your friends. You also have this energy of care. If you have a friend around you that feels like they are down, maybe you need to show them how much you care instead of hiding your feelings. You know, if you have somebody that has always been there for you and you know that they need a little extra guidance or a little extra, even for some of you, you're that friend that's even like a little bit of a tough friend. We all need, like, you know, different people in our lives that have a different little spice. Sometimes you need that friend that like gives you the good old kick in the ass to get you back up. Sometimes you need the one that's soft and comfy and does it. And sometimes you are blessed with a friend that's got it all. You know, if you have somebody like that in your life that knows, you know, your different moods, the different periods you've been through, when you need to get a little advice and when you don't want somebody to fix it, you just want to speak, you just want someone to hear you today, you know, you just want to let it out and they know to listen, that's a really good friend. Do embrace that person and tell them how important they are to you, because that's really special. Not everyone is blessed with a friend like that or a group like that. So I want to go to this deck because I kind of really like it. It's a really unusual tarot. It's the Late Shadow Tarot. It's kind of like the Hermit Tarot a little. So let's just fill that space in because it's bothering me now that it's uneven. And get like a point of focus, something that would be helpful for you. What is a focus point? The Ten of Wands. Needing to let something go that is heavy. But this flipped out upside down, so somebody is learning to maybe not work harder, has to be hard with the big old rust, or the people you don't work with, or something that never really gets off the ground. This is working smarter. This is getting to the end of something that maybe you do have to get to the end to, and it's not always easy. But if you get a new cycle, because after the end, the ending, the release is a beginning. So do you repeat a pattern that was a little too difficult the last time, or do you switch something up? Sometimes this is somebody who is really stubborn as well. Sometimes I see this 10 of Pentacles kind of like someone who wants to show how powerful they are by handling that whole load and the weight of the world themselves, because they got it. They're the only ones that can do it. They're going to show everybody that they were the powerful, strongest one evs. But then they're like running on empty, burning the candle at both ends, and eventually going to like shut down from having no motivation anymore. It's like strenuous. This is somebody who's stressed out. This is somebody who needs to drop the 10 extra baggage of luggage that they're carrying around like, you know, a 1 billion-pound Mary Poppins purse all the time, and just take the little carry-on. What is that? Just take your clutch. You only need your wallet, your keys, you know, your license, and a little bit of cash. Always have a little bit of cash just in case the electronics go down. I'm such a Virgo. I always get a little practical in there. Or you need gas, you know? It's always good to have like 20 bucks with you. I tend to take on more tasks than I can handle. And so I can distract myself from my feelings until I fall into exhaustion or illness. You know, somebody who's like, somebody's hiding away how they really feel or how they want to move, or, you know, wanting to even show everyone that everything is great, but then they feel like something's completely missing inside. You can put on that mask all you want, but eventually it's going to sneak up, get sweaty, and fall off. The 10 of Wands is so much pressure. It's like a pressure cooker, you know? Sometimes that's going to build up and it's going to like fly off the handle. It's like a volcano kind of energy, bubbly under the surface, and eventually it's just going to come out at the wrong time, at the wrong person, in the wrong energy. It's like that cat, like Rauw, all of a sudden. You know, it's like resentment builds up. But here it says somebody is trying to hide their feelings, so they're making themselves busy. They're like, yeah, I'll do that, but they don't really want to do that. They're like, that'll just, you know, that'll take away the 2 hours of time where I don't want to really be in that other place. So I'll, you know, insert something over here that I don't really want to be there either, but then I'm not at the other place that I don't really want to be, but you're not really at any place you want to be, so it's just pressure all the time. And that might not be you. That might be giving you a little clarity on somebody else's situation. Somebody's distracting themselves, but exhausting themselves. And that's going to stop pretty soon. It has to eventually. Eventually, you know, that gas tank gets drained if it's not filled up properly. Clarify the 10 of Wands, please. Why is the 10 of Wands here? Because it's exactly the same. Somebody's hiding their emotions. Somebody's hiding how they really feel, either in their everyday environment or to somebody they really care about, something that they've received insight on, but perhaps they're not following. It could also be because you have this here. If this has to now do with emotions, somebody could be blocking their emotions and trying to be all logical in their mind, because that's what always worked. But when it comes to love, that doesn't always make sense in logical land. You know, it makes that that makes sense to the intelligence of the heart. And the energetic field of the heart is humongous. So when that is not in its truth, it doesn't matter how intelligent your mind is. Something's always going to feel wobbly and wonky. 18 is the moon. So the moon is ebb and flow, you know, going with the tides, energies. It could be secrets, something way under the surface, you know, kept hidden, but eventually something comes to light. If you hold that beach ball of emotion under the water, eventually it gets slippy and it's going to pop on out like that volcano. And even if it's somebody has got a good grip on it, they got it, it's under there, those emotions are still underneath the surface of a situation. So sometimes this is where somebody has to address something or has to make some change is necessary. Be a little flexible. It's recognizing that instinct energy and that loyalty energy with the dog. It's knowing when you have to be instinctual and growl if you gotta. But it's also recognizing that loyalty, because in the traditional tarot, there's that moon in the towers. There's usually like a crab or something coming out of the water, and then, or like sometimes a little lobster, you know, something with pinchers. And then there's usually a wolf and a dog, you know, variations through different artistic renditions. But here it says, I had a rough childhood. So we start thinking the worst case scenarios. That would be this worry energy we started with. Worst case scenarios. I know most are just illusions, but they feel so real because thoughts are things. And if you keep thinking about things that haven't happened, and I'm saying you, just keep this in, you know, in alignment, but this could be how somebody else is, you know, how their workings are. Maybe you are the one that comes through to help teach, support, or inspire somebody to think differently. Somebody had a rough childhood. It's what they know. It's what they were taught. What was, you know, drilled into them as a kid, or all that they experienced. If somebody suddenly has different experiences in adulthood, but maybe not the right support around them to heal those things, it's like you keep reopening up the band-aid, you know, ripping out the stitches before something is actually healed, or not even recognizing there was a wound there to begin with. Sometimes you have a trigger that happens. Something happens, you know, and all of a sudden something is triggered. Woo, there's a wound there. You didn't even recognize it. You were just used to it. You were used to wearing shoes that were 2 sizes too small. You didn't recognize there was another size that fits better. Like, oh, you mean I don't have to have blisters when I walk? You know, my toes don't have to be scrunched. They make a different size. One size does not fit all. So maybe this is just having compassion. This could be your inner childhood wounds that are healing. This could also be someone else. And healing is a process that happens over life. It's not like a, there you go, you're fixed. It's not about that. It's constant growth. But if somebody keeps, you know, going back to worry land, and they're not focused on possibilities or opportunities, or I don't know why I heard conclusion. It can be a conclusion or resolution or solutions, possibilities, even if there is something that is a conclusion. Okay, there's a shut door. What about the next open door? What could be behind door number 1, 2, and 3? Door number 4 is done. You know, it's somebody worried about what's going on in door number 4 that's been locked. Or not going into 1, 2, or 3 because, I don't know, you knock on that door, there could be something weird there. Or there could be success in that door. What if you have success and all of a sudden you got to think about all these new goals or new things that you have to do, or you have to make some different plans? Or what if it's not a success? What if it doesn't work out? What if everyone sees that you weren't successful? It's just different mindset. You just have to say, well, if it's a failure, you learn something from it, and you know not to go in door number 1 that was weird again. But what if it's a success and you're like, I get to have all these new experiences. I get to have all these brand new lessons that you grow from in life. And what a challenge that gets to be. Look how much you're going to grow because of all of that. It's same situations, different mindset, different viewpoint on how to see it. Let's see. 18 is usually big, but that also takes you to a 9, which is, now you have a 9, 10. So progress towards the conclusion. Let's get one more. What is one more? Please and thank you. Oh, that's a big boy. You know, or man. No pun intended. You got the Emperor. Well, that is somebody that, I mean, the emperor is not just all logical. The emperor knows how to run a kingdom. The emperor is powerful, man. Maybe this is a new emperor showing up in your life. Maybe that's a new boss. Maybe that's your partner. Maybe that's you bossing up, doing what you gotta do to make some different moves. Or if the emperor is so overworked, no matter how powerful that emperor is or appears to be on the outside, doesn't mean the emperor doesn't have some childhood wounds or some shitty times that they went through in life. You know, or that that emperor doesn't have a lot of emotions going on underneath the surface. But if the emperor is overworking, it is good to have balance in life. Maybe the emperor needs to go on out and, you know, have a good time at a show or a concert, an event, the movies, dinner. Maybe the emperor is following a different route because this celebratory energy has been sparked in his or her, but it's a masculine energy for sure, soul. You know, maybe this emperor is overly concerned about what everybody thinks of him. He shouldn't be, because a good emperor is all of those kings, all of the kings combined. He's, you know, expressive and creative and emotional and psychic, grounded and logical and realistic, and, you know, hit something like talk to the horse's mouth, doesn't want to beat around the bush. The emperor makes decisions he is solid with, but when new information comes into play, he's not going to be so solid with those decisions. He doesn't change his mind because that's what he said. It's like, that worked in the last chapter, but now, you know, different information has come into play. He's had a new experience. He had to adjust something. You have to be flexible. A good emperor is relatable. A good emperor is, you know, fiery. They definitely turn heads, but it's a divine energy. The emperor has to recognize his kingdom is going to run best when he listens to his higher self, when he is attuned to God, source, spirit. Otherwise, he's just sucked down here in the 3D world, which is a good place to be. It has to be a balance. But his world would feel so much bigger if those energies that are more real, more prominent, but maybe you can't see, are tapped into. If they're just ignored, this stuff doesn't come with you. The experiences do. The love you have for, you know, the people that brought you the best experiences in your life are there. That energy, that love, that loyalty. But things are just things, but thoughts are also things. In society, status is high priority to me, and I like having control over others. He can be a control freak. So this could be somebody you are connecting to, and they could be a control freak or really like to be in control in whatever they are working on, or who they are working with, or who they are working for, or who's working for them. But it's the difference in intention. Let's just say this is a manager or this is a boss. You might have two different people. They both are kind of control freak. They like things to be a certain way. But let's say you have one in a low vibration and they just control, you know, how they feel about a certain person isn't quite how they feel about another person. They don't really care about the team thing. They just want to be seen as the most powerful and be able to handle and manipulate things as they choose. That's kind of a weird, uncomfortable, karmic kind of boss or manager situation because their intention is kind of selfish and a little bit childish. You know, kind of like they're kind of getting like a little jealous, like junior high kid, like kind of petty. Let's say there's another boss, likes to be in control, but if they say something, it's constructive criticism. If they say something, it's because they see potential in who they're saying it to. If they say something, even though it feels controlling and they're not afraid to say something, they want it to be because they want that environment to succeed. They want that team to succeed as a team. They want whatever that project is to have success. And the only way to do it is to address something that, you know, you don't let it go on, be swept under the table. You speak up. So there's something about the intentions behind the control. But a good emperor, I kind of see as a schmoozer. It's the relatable emperor. You don't want the one that's upside down, the tyrant. Otherwise, people are just there because, you know, they have to. They signed on the dotted line. They signed that contract. They're getting something out of being around someone so powerful and a high status. But they're not there out of loyalty and true friendship. They're there over something else that's their own. It's like mismatched, you know, lower vibrations together. You belong together. Or you're there out of fear, which is here and accepting less than you deserve, or, you know, settling is kind of what I'm getting, because you're fearing change, fearing to be anywhere different, fearing if somebody else will accept you, I hear validate you. But when an emperor is upright, I mean, it's the one that goes out in the kingdom and looks at what everyone is doing. He wants his whole kingdom to be successful, not just him up there on his status throne. It's lonely up there. You probably can't trust the people around you anyway. But the one that's there because people really love the emperor, everyone's there because they want to be with you. They want to be around you. They recognize that, you know, there's a true loyalty behind that dynamic, that group, that team, that partnership, whatever it is. I didn't even finish reading this card. I follow strict rules and I have high demands or expectations. The Emperor. I just heard the end. So, I mean, if somebody wants to have all of, you know, that power, what really is power though? I feel like there's something different with power not having to be pushed, and it's just there because of how it's exuded. There's also something that's very powerful about allowing one's self to be vulnerable, allowing oneself to be there's a word, it's like on the tip of my tongue and I can't get it. Oneself to be like humble, like humility can be really powerful. You don't always have to prove how strong you are by handling the most. Sometimes the emperor has to recognize if the kingdom they signed up for or the kingdom that they have all these rules about is not growing or not vibing. It's rebuilding a kingdom somewhere else, or rebuilding who is in that kingdom or who you build with. I was going to pull, but I think that's beautiful. Some of this reading was beautiful and some was kind of heavy, but now you got a balance, sun, moon, yin, yang. Whatever was here in the shadows, in the dark, will become full, will be illuminated. The sun is feeling like yourself. The sun is where you are having fun with what you're doing, what you're working on, who you're with. It's hard to hide the sun. You can have a cloudy day. The sun's always going to come back around. It's even going to create growth through those clouds. The sun is a masculine energy. Yang. It's our star. It's growth. It's warmth. It's truth. It's authenticity. The sun is where anything that was unclear before, all of a sudden, happiness comes through. Opportunity comes through. The sun is where somebody finally feels like they're not hiding. They're ready to let their truth shine. Thank you for reminding me of the simple joys of life. It is happiness that comes from the soul. So pure, so innocent, and full of truth, which is not this cheating, concealment, misleading, or hiding. This came full circle and I love it. But, you know, sometimes this sun is more like an inner light in one's soul that has to turn on. So even if something's in the moonlight here, you got that guidance from something higher, a higher power than the map or what your eyes think they see. And it's getting to read writing that may have been on those cave walls the whole time. You just didn't have the right illumination to see it. Sometimes it's not, you know, the release of control. If that's a control person over there, it's like, I'd rather not have the light on than I'm in control. I don't want to really want to see what's there. The Emperor's like, show me. Let me see. What is it? Because then you can react, move, build, change, leave, go accordingly. I hope this reading was helpful for you guys. It was, this is one of those readings that felt like I was on a soapbox, or it was like intense messages came through for you guys. But also beautiful. I always feel like the sun overpowers everything. It doesn't really matter to me, whatever else came through here in a reading when the sun comes in. The sun says, this is all the inner workings of something, but you know what? It's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. There'll be a resolution. There's going to be a change. You'll be clear. And this is just feeling so much better. It's just such a happy energy that is going to come through. So, one more. Since we got the sun, we're going to end with the universe. One message, please, and thank you. Yes. Just because something is not happening right now doesn't mean it will never happen. Divine timing is at play. Be patient. Trust the process. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I hope this reading was helpful in some way. Even if it wasn't the whole reading, I hope there were little peaks and pinnacle points that made sense or will to you. And I feel so much gratitude to be here with you. Thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me every day. And I look forward to seeing you mañana. Bye.